The thing about IP is you need to have a strategy for it, just like you do for any other aspect of your business. You need a financial strategy, you need a marketing strategy, you need a routes to market strategy, you need an IP strategy. It could be simple, it could be one side of A4, but as long as you have a strategy, then you will understand what you need to do, when, and how much it's going to cost.
There are those organisations that can take a look at your IP for you and conduct an IP review with you to determine what you really need to protect and what you could potentially not protect and still succeed.
We had what's called an IP audit fairly recently, actually, and so the guy came in and had a look at all things to do with intellectual property. So that was looking at the website, looking at our paper-based materials, looking at contracts, looking at our trademarks. We don't need to do things like patents, but it's still important, even if you have a knowledge-based business. And I think that a lot of people maybe think that you need patents for things, but actually knowledge is worth something too.
IP obviously depends on what IP the companies have, what they've already protected and what needs to be protected. The most important thing is that they understand how valuable their IP is, understand what they need to protect and how to protect it, and that they have a strategy in place. Obviously, that strategy is going to be determined by how valuable that IP is. So, in terms of patents, for example, it's always a tricky issue. Do you spend a lot of money on a patent which you may not be able to protect?
I think directors are in a bit of a dilemma here, because if the shareholders are going to have value, one of the things that they will want is to see that the product is patented. So to a certain extent, you have to have the patent done because your investors and your stakeholders are going to want to see that that patent is in place because it gives value.
I recall one company that had not launched its products, but they were so confident that it was going to be a world-beating piece of equipment that they'd spent £750,000 on patents alone, on worldwide patents, before they'd even sold a single bit of kit. That's fine if you've got that. They had investment. Most companies don't have that.
When you go out for investment, the first thing they go is, are the patents in place? Are the patents up to date? And there's a big tick in the box from that. You know, as you know from the financial markets, that's basically what they're looking for. So to a certain extent, you need to do it because you have to tick that box. But what protection it actually gives you, I think, is questionable.
So patents, I think, are tricky, and you need advice on that.
I think as far as a lot of you are concerned, you run businesses which are services or have products. And from my point of view, we have a knowledge-based business. And so then the copyright of things rather than patenting is what's important to us. And because of the franchise business, the trademarking of names and logos and those sorts of things are actually really important in my business, because that is what I license other people to be able to use. So I'm licensing our processes, our procedures, our knowledge, and that is what I sell. And so just slightly different way of looking at it, really.
Things which are much simpler are trademarks, and any company can register its trademark fairly quickly, fairly painlessly, and without too much expense. So that, to protect your brand, I would say, is the very first step for every company to do.